Hey everyone, it's Purple Haze again with more thoughts on the Switch 2 launch. And today, or the Switch 2 Direct we just saw and what we know about Switch 2 so far. Today, I'm going to talk about the things I'm most disappointed about with the Switch 2, what we know so far. And so, with that said, the first thing I'm a little bit disappointed in is having to pay for the demo. Now, shout out to Kenny G. He gave me some ideas about why that might be and why that's not a big thing. And obviously, we don't have to pay for the demo, but still, I think that that is something that probably shouldn't have been unlocked. But I can understand why they did it. So, shout out to you, Kenny G, for giving me that kind of feedback. But yeah, it's still one of those things I'm going to say I'm a little disappointed in. The next thing I'm going to say that I'm a little disappointed in is going to be the UI and what we know so far about the UI. So I've been really critical of Nintendo's UI in the game store specifically. Seems like they're not going to change it that much. Obviously, we have not seen that. We have not seen the Switch 2 launch. UIs are something that you can actually change post launch. So potentially that's going to change. But from what I've seen, I feel like they had a lot of time to get this together. I hope it runs at least a little bit smoother. I would have liked it to have maybe a little bit more intuitive UI than it was before. But still, right now, it's going down as one of the things I'm most disappointed about with the Switch 2. The next thing I'm kind of disappointed about is the fact that as of right now, and from what we've seen, you have to pay for the Nintendo Switch Online account to use the chat features. So shout out and kudos to Nintendo for getting chat features into the Switch 2 that have been there with other systems for the better part of a decade. However, putting those behind the Nintendo Switch Online, that to me is not the best look. But again, Nintendo Switch Online is only $20, but I totally understand a lot of people out there are very budget conscious, and that just isn't like the best look. But again, we'll have to see how this looks going forward. But so far, from what we saw, Switch 2, you're gonna need a NSO account to access that. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing that I'm looking at, and so far I've heard mixed signals on this, has to be use the camera, right? Can we use another camera? Even if we use another camera, is it going to run slow? I know during the demo they showed that it wasn't really running the best. It's not really a feature I'm going to probably use that much, but obviously I like to have things that are a little bit more suited up, nuts to bolts. And that one seems like it's going to be a little bit tricky to get it to run, especially if you have 4 cameras playing a game in game. I don't know. It seemed like it could use a little bit more work, but again, it's not a feature I necessarily am going to use. However, if I were to use it, it's something that I would want to see a little bit more built out. And then probably last but not least, and this is just more me than anything, is I think going in with Donkey Kong's kind of risky. It's not necessarily a disappointment, but maybe it's just because I'm not a huge Donkey Kong fan. But I would have preferred something else, out there. I know in 64, you had Star Fox back in the day. So obviously, I'm always going to cheer for Star Fox. So yeah, take it for what it is. But those are my 5 things that I am most disappointed about with the Switch 2 launch. I know if you're saying purple, what about the pricing? Definitely you can go check out the video I did on the pricing and anti-consumer pricing and so forth, and you'll get my thoughts on that. But overall, I'm still really excited about it. I'm going to try my best to try to get this when it launches. But let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. All right. Take care, y'all.